At this time, I'd like to introduce Tamaris Hennigan. She is chairwoman of the Human Relations Commission for the City of Adrian. Thank you, Tamaris.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here. I thought about what I was going to say today because they asked me to come out here and represent some of the minorities in the community. And as I look around, I think my challenge is bigger than I realized because there's not very many of us here. That means the message I have for you right now is that much more important. And when we leave here today, I challenge you to find the minorities in your community, in your families, in your schools, in your organizations, and tell them to stand by your side. Because minorities need to care about what's going on in these schools right now. This is not an issue that is just for white people. This is not an issue that is just for Hispanics. It's not just for blacks, gays, immigrants, Jews. This is an issue that we have to stand side by side on. So when you leave here today, challenge them. Tell them they should have been here by your side. Because when Nicholas Cruz chose to go into a high school in Florida and shoot 17 students, he had already been on the internet proclaiming his issues with minorities, stating that he hated blacks, Jews, gays, immigrants, and if anyone had been paying attention to what Nicholas Cruz was doing, maybe those 17 students would still be here today. Woo! Black students make up only 16.6% of our school population, but they experience school shootings at twice the rate of 34.1%. That's the largest increase out of all minorities. So challenge the people you know to stand by your side. They think that these things happen in predominantly white schools and white communities, and so that's why there's not as many of us here today. But guess what? We live in a predominantly white community. We send our children to predominantly white schools, and it's time we stood by your side and fight for every one of those kids that's in those schools. So when you leave here today, challenge them to stand by your side. What do we have to do? Well, it's time for us to be proud of the children that we've raised, because that's who organized this event today. Show them that you're proud by standing by their side and taking action for their safety. Stop making noise and take action. Help them plan events, help them spread awareness, help them draft legislation that will keep them safe in the schools, and show your presence in the community. And hold our elected officials accountable to take action to protect those children. Because 10 years from now, when these kids look back, I don't want them to say, we fixed the problem, but we did it by ourselves because the adults didn't help us. So hold each other accountable, and please hold everyone you know accountable today. Thank you.
All right, really quick, a check-in. How's everyone doing? I know it's a little cold and a little windy, but that's okay. All right. My co-leader, Marley Schussler, and her friend, Haley Hilton, two of Tecumseh's best and brightest 8th graders, have something to say. Marley and Haley.
Hi, my name is Marley Schussler, and I am an 8th grade student in the Tecumseh School District. And I'm here today because I am very disheartened by the events of the past few months. It seems like every other day, there is another report of a school shooting, and I find myself asking over and over again, am I next? Will this ever end? There have been so many shootings, I've begun to think it normal. We need to start remembering that school shootings are not normal, and they can be stopped. Sensible gun laws need to be put in place. Instead of putting more guns in schools, we should stop kids like Nicholas Cruz from ever possessing a gun in the first place. I should not go to school fearful of whether I may be murdered. Politicians need to start listening to our voices and realize that if they don't, they won't be in office for much longer. Guns are a weapon, and they should be treated as such. They should not be treated as a toy. I do not want to have to fight for my life any longer. Together we need to stand up and say enough is enough.